All right, let's bring in Keith Stewart as the PGA Tour rolls on, and what a finish it was last week in the BMW Championship on one particular hole, by the way, which really sealed it for Scotty Scheffler. Good to have you back here on the show, Keith. And yeah, I mean, it's the old cliche. It's Scotty's world, and we're living in it. I mean, couldn't be more true about any athlete in the country than Scotty Scheffler. It's just sort of ridiculous at this point how good he was, and sometimes he does it with these highlight reels and big shots. He did it again last week on 17. I mean, what is left for Scotty Scheffler at this point? I mean, we've had these dominant runs for Nicholas and Palmer and Gary Player and Tiger Woods, and it's like I'm putting him in that category. Maybe not quite, but close to it, right?
Well, Craig, good afternoon here to the Newswire fans. And I mean, there's two constants right now in my world. One is Scotty Scheffler wins, and the other thing is that it's hot as blazes everywhere we go. Memphis, Baltimore. Now I'm down in Atlanta. I mean, you can see the
Oh
sweat
yeah,
on my forehead. It's crazy. If you want to put Scotty in perspective, we talked about this after he won the Open Championship. Now that he's starting to accumulate major championships, forget the money and everything for a second, but like now that he's starting to accumulate major championships, he's kind of surpassed that Brooks Rory level of his generation.
hmm
And now we're starting to look at him like his next step is getting to like Phil status. And then if he could do that and get to the high
gotcha.
single digits, then you're going to start to talk about the Gary Players and the Tom Watsons of the world. Of course, Tiger, Nicholas, that's another stratosphere, but the pace that
Sure.
he's on and the rate with which he's winning, I mean, 5 wins in his last 10 starts, that's very Tiger-esque. And the ball striking manner with which he does it is impressive. Now, the one thing about Scotty is he's been pretty vanilla as he does all this. It's like death by a thousand paper cuts. Sunday on 17, that was a signature moment for Scotty, and it's tough to remember all of them for Scotty, but we all will remember that one.
Yeah, no, that's very, very true. And I still think with the great coverage that the PGA Tour has of these events, even a little vanilla, we're still seeing so many players play on via the apps that they have, watching each player if you want to. It's just the technology has increased so much and it's made it so great. But there it is. That's the list this year. Byron Nelson, then the major, the PGA Championship, Memorial, then the Open Championship, now the BMW Championship. And I suppose I would ask you this: of all of those, seemingly, I think people will probably go back to the Open Championship as the one that was the biggest of them all. Do you consider it to be that amongst all his wins this year?
Well, I think at this point, if we're going to track down, let's say double digits in majors, all the majors matter. So let's not discount
Okay.
the PGA, held off John Rahm. Quail Hollow is certainly a championship test. But the uniqueness of what happened over at the Open Championship was that was his highest odds starting the week of the year. He was plus 600. Now,
Mhm.
most of the year, he was sitting around plus 450 in the majors going in,
Right.
plus 300, plus 400 or whatever in the regular signature events, et cetera. So he goes into that week plus 600, and everyone's trying to downplay the fact that, like maybe Scotty's not that good on links style golf. Well, guess what? He goes over there and he wins by a couple again. So I think that's probably the most memorable of the wins because of that. People doubting him, but at the end of the day, we've spent, like people in our world we keep trying to come up with reasons how not to bet Scotty. And I think for the Tour Championship, the mess that we're building down here and the fact that the way the format of the tournament is set up this year, I think that you got to run with Scotty this week.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like that at this point with the way that he is playing. And, I guess I just didn't realize this stat, Keith, so I'm going to go over it here with you, just how dominant Tiger Woods is. I mean, I suppose I
Yeah.
forgot that. He has been the world number one, Scotty has, for 118 straight weeks. Tiger Woods, 281 weeks in a row? I guess I didn't realize that. I got to walk back what I said a little bit earlier. You're right. He's still got a long way to go until he catches him.
I mean, real quickly, Craig, in our world, in the betting world, Tiger used to go to events and he would be even money against the field. He went into Bay Hill in 2008. He was minus 110. He was going into majors at plus 150, plus 100. Scotty's plus 150 this week, plus 175 against 29 other guys. We're talking about full
Mm.
field events, and Tiger was minus 110 going to a place where he had won a couple of times. Pump the brakes on the Tiger comparisons a little bit. But you know what? From a ball striking perspective, Scotty is really, really impressive. And that's what really suits Eastlake this week. And Live Golf, for all that it is, kind of showed us what this week is all about here at the Tour Championship. Joaquin Niemann won 5 times on the Live Tour this year, yet Jon Rahm was the player of the year on points. How that happens, Craig, we'll need a whole nother show. I have no idea. But Scotty Scheffler is no doubt the season leader in points in everything, right? But if he doesn't win this week, he's not the FedEx Cup champion. So there's a little bit of drama brewing there. And I think that it weighs on all of these guys at the top of the list that they really want to break through. No more so than Scotty. And I have good news to report. His caddy, his man under the straps, Ted Scott, is back with him.
Yeah, no, that's huge news, and not that it mattered last week, with all due respect to Ted. But let me show you the odds here, Keith, to win the PGA Tour Championship, and these are as short as we've gotten. You mentioned Tiger with Scotty, plus 150. I mean, that's as low as it gets, and I know we're just like trying to find someone else, so we threw some names here on the board. I mean, Justin Thomas, that's new to the field here, being as short as 25-1. I see that. I mean, Oberg does have his weeks. Tommy Fleetwood at this point, I'm going to shake his hand and root for him, but in the end, it's kind of hard to land on him. No disrespect to Tommy Fleetwood. What do you make of those odds?
Well, I think that you really have to look at the golf course, right? What are the keys to playing well here at East Lake Golf Club? You got to keep the ball in the fairway. You got to stay out of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda grass rough is going to chew guys up. If you look at the strokes gained career leaders here, you're talking about guys like Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, Russell Henley, the guys that are very, very accurate off the tee. You got to have to be able to score. Vegas set the over-under for the final score at 17.5. And then I also think that you got to be a good, where are you going to score? How about on those par 3s and 4s? For the third week in a row, we have a par 70 contest. So all of those factors lean on Scotty. If I was going to go another way, I would go with the accuracy guys. Maybe not Fleetwood, but a Henley or a Colin Morikawa or somebody like that breaking through for a huge win. That might be something I would look at.
All right, great stuff as always, Keith. Try to stay cool. Of course, I'm here in South Florida. I feel your heat pain, believe me, every day here. It doesn't end. Thanks again for coming on.
Oh, absolutely, Craig. Love it on Tuesdays. I'll see you in a couple weeks. All these Ryder Cup guys are going to go to the Pro Court Championship. It's going to be exciting.